control of Star Wars, so it's going off in a different path than what I intended. But the first 6 are very much mine and my philosophy.
I'm not sure if you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think? What do you think of what he said right there?
Well, it's clear to say, I think he lost interest, and he might dislike the new, what do you call it? New trilogy.
New trilogy.
But,
Okay.
yeah. But in my opinion, from what he said there, I think he doesn't care. I think he.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe.
It's the thing. It's the thing that he made. You know, you can't dislike something that you make, that you enjoy. He made 6 Star Wars movies that he enjoyed, and he invested money in, so he's gonna enjoy that. But I don't know if he's gonna care or express his feelings about the newer ones. In my opinion, the newer ones aren't that good. So.
Yeah, they were kind of a story that he obviously didn't want to be told. Like, he didn't want to tell it that way, how it was portrayed. And so we see that, like, you know, he what he thought of was like there's just the first 6, and he didn't really have anything to do with the last 3 apparently.
Yeah, I think he might have disliked her. Well, like I said, he did, and probably because of one reason that comes to mind is the fact that the new trilogy pretty much trashed a bunch of, like, what you'd say, like, main characters. They trashed Luke Skywalker, Han Solo. They threw them in the mud, and instead of utilizing them and making them sort of like mentors, instead Luke Skywalker was like a man baby who was crying about how he couldn't do anything. And then Han Solo was just like a depressed father. Like, he could have actually used it, but kind of threw it in the mud. So.
Right, and I'm not sure if you read about this, but it was a few months ago how his idea for the sequels, how he wanted to have Luke rebuild the Jedi Order, and then Leia as like the Chancellor, but she doesn't turn evil, of course. But she, and then the ultimate evil guy is like Darth Maul, and then he has an apprentice that tries to turn Luke to the dark side, something like that. That's just from my memory, but so that's something obviously different than what we got in the sequels. So it would just be cool seeing Luke train other Jedi, I think.
That would be far more interesting, in my opinion, instead of having like kind of a, I'd say, like, lackluster plot, and you see all these new characters. And hey, we would probably see Grogu.
Right. And I want to know, like, why is Grogu not in the sequels if he's, like, how old is he? How long did his species live? Like, for 1,000 years? 900 years?
He was 50. He was 50 at the start of The Mandalorian.
Right, so he would definitely be alive.
He'd be like 80, and he'd be, like 80-ish, 70, I don't know. Around there. Oh, yeah, you could see him.
Yeah, like, why wasn't he there? But anyway.
And I think that philosophy sort of goes beyond any particular time, because it's based on history, it's based on philosophy, it's based on a lot of things. And you know, the first 3 basically tell you how a democracy turns into a dictatorship, and you end up with a tyrant, the emperor. It's a very important now, where we are now in our political history.
Okay, anyway. So this was like in an interview, he was talking to like kids, like 12-year-olds at this school. He started talking about how he didn't like the sequels. He's like, that's how irritated apparently he was, or I don't know. Yeah, so anyway, he's just explaining how, I would say, like, how he really thought about how to make and like how to put his story into like meaning things, and apparently he thinks that the sequels didn't really do that well with that.
Yeah. In my opinion, and I've seen a lot of other people also like talk about this, but I think the sequels, like as he said, should have been like the aftermath of what 6 showed. Like, the Empire is falling. There's nothing left of it, and it it just makes no sense how a fleet comes out of nowhere. You know, I mean, darkness always lurks. Like, as I think he said, like there'll always be bad, but it makes no sense how the Empire rebuilt 30 years. How they built like an entire
Yeah, I want to see a story. How did they do that?
yeah, it just out of nowhere. And also Snoke, like
True.
waste of characters. Instead, we should have seen like the characters that actually matter grow. Like we should have seen Six start off with like Luke just being like a little older.
Wouldn't
but
that
then
been
such, like,
awesome to see
Yeah.
to see like the 7th movie end off right where Return of the Jedi ended with Luke on that planet,
Yeah, that'd be,
and then that would have
and then
been
rebuild the Jedi Order, and then after they rebuild the Jedi Order, and then they find Darth Maul. This would actually be nice. Darth Maul starts convincing people, and he starts using brute force, and he makes his own army, and then he starts attacking the Jedi. Something like that. That would be more interesting to watch. You mean like if he directed the movie, but he kept it in the same direction as it is?
right.
Oh, well, in that case, I mean, a bad movie is a bad movie, but he has a good, reputation.
Yeah, I don't
So,
think he would have that idea because he obviously said that his idea didn't follow that.
Yeah, I feel like the new Star Wars movies were targeted towards kids, not. And I know the old movies are targeted towards kids as well, but with more logic, you know.
I guess you
Young
guys aren't ready for that yet, but your kids are gonna love it.
kids are
And I'm not sure about that. I mean, maybe you never. We gotta wait and find out. I mean, that kind of happened with the prequels. Like, not many people liked it when they came out, and now I like the prequels a lot. And
The Senate is expected to vote on this today. In other news, officials at the Pacific Nuclear Research Facility have denied the rumor that the case of missing plutonium was in fact lost 2 weeks ago. They have many people claiming responsibility for losing it. However, the officials now infer the discrepancy to a simple clerical error. The FBI is currently investigating the matter. Dr. Anthony Fauci has now made an announcement that everyone should wear masks wherever you go.